Okay. This is good for like the Sonata Opus 15, right?
Yeah, exactly. You got 25 pages.
Yeah. So I'm here with my teacher, Mike Giraldin. Pleasure to reconnect with him after a long time. I took a class with you in Saddleback College. That's where we met. Now that was my first classical guitar class. I was playing guitar before, so I learned, the Aaron Scherer, stuff like that. And then at the time I was going to SAC and I was working at the music lab. And Mrs. Puller was going crazy trying to find a guitar teacher. And I told her, hey, I got this cool teacher at Saddleback. His name is Mike Giraldin. That's how you got that job at SAC. She called you from there.
Wow, man.
Really. And then, I took all, with you music, what do they call it? Applied music at SAC.
Yeah.
So we
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause you used to come over here for lessons.
That's true.
I used to do all my lessons right here.
Right
in this room.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, I remember. Also at the school, of course, in that at the end of the hallway, there was this little music room. You'd say, Reza, sit down and figure this out, I'll be back. It was like, all the stuff that you didn't want. Yeah. Like that slur study and B flat or something. It was a pain in the ass.
A copy of that? Yeah, that's a good one. The one in B. Oh yeah, the one in A flat.
A flat, that's what it is. Yeah, and it's a pain in the ass to learn. But it's just like, Reza, you're not moving. I'm not gonna let you out of this room until you figure that out.
You need a copy of that? I got it. Okay, I got it all sitting right over there, man. It's all sitting right over there. A lot of stuff sitting there.
So, Mike, how did you get into the guitar yourself?
That's a good question. Well, I got to go back before that. The guitar, I got into music. Let's go back to music.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, music was far before the guitar. When I was a child, about 6 or 7 years old, I contracted polio. At that time, I was, living in Glendale, and my parents were really very poor. I went to Children's Hospital, stuff in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, when I got out of the hospital, I had to recuperate at home and all this kind of crap for a couple of years. And I was in a wheelchair, I couldn't walk, it was terrible. So my dad made me a crystal set, a radio. This is before we didn't have a TV set, it's like, no way, man. Mm-hmm. So he built this little crystal set for me, and I had the earphone, and the only station that I could get was KFI.
Mm-hmm.
And KFI at that particular time, they were broadcasting from the corner of Glendale Boulevard and Broadway, which is approximately 3/4 of a mile from where I live from there. And they were generating 50,000 watts of
radio transmission.
Okay, fine. And all they played was classical music.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? All I ever listened to was classical music. I heard every symphony. I heard every solo, every aria. I didn't know any of this stuff, but this is the only thing that entertained me because I could hear where the music was going to go before it went there.
Mm-hmm.
I could intuitively feel what it was going to do. So I had a great inspirational, let's say, thing about, music. I liked it. I thought it was cool, And after a few years, doing those kinds of things, I was a little better, and I had a friend who lived around the corner. And one day, the guy with the accordion shows up at my buddy's house, and they used to drum up business when they did this kind of thing. And he says, hey, would you have a chair? I sit on this chair over here, and I'm going to show him how to do something. And my buddy gets the accordion, he puts it on. He didn't have a clue what the hell to do. And he's got to do this, and, you pump it like that, and he's going to do a little bit of this, do. He didn't get it. I raised my hand, hey. Yeah, I got it, okay, I know, come here. He puts it on me. Mm-hmm. I got it working right away, and I do something over here. The guy says, where do you live? I said, down the street and around the corner, let's go. Right now, because I could do this. I wanted to play that instrument so bad. Oh my God, I wanted to play it so bad. I go there. My parents said, no. Can't do that. So that was that.
Wow.
I couldn't do any of that kind of stuff. So
Why did they say that?
Well, that's an interesting question. That's because I have an uncle. My uncle was about 12 years older than I was, and he was a child prodigy musician. He made movies with Billy Gilbert back in the early 40s, and he was the kid who played the accordion on the movies with this actor. And after about the time of 1950, he was in the U.S. Navy, he got into trouble with drugs. Well, music, drugs.
Right.
Parents said,
bad association.
No way, man, you're not doing this at all. Not a chance, okay? So that didn't happen, obviously, so I couldn't do that. So I had to wait until I was about, in my teenage years, 14, 15. I really got interested in music, and I went, man, I got to learn how to do some of this. I want to play something. And I love the instrument, the guitar, and I taught myself a few things and did stuff like this. I had a lot of people start,
How did you get your first guitar?
I started playing bass guitar first. Bass, electric bass, all that kind of stuff. And I got hooked up with a rock and roll band, and we played by ear and did all that kind of crap, this, that, and the other. And when I was in the service, I did the same thing. On the side, we used to make money. Do that on the weekends, man. I got very interested in the guitar on Okinawa because there was a guitar teacher there, and there was a guy on the bass who played classical guitar. And I happened to hear him one day, and so he hooks me up with this guy, okay? And he was an officer, and I was an enlisted guy, so we kind of didn't go together. But we did outside the base. Anyway, so I got hooked up, and I started taking a few lessons over there, and I really enjoyed that, so I did that. And I came back here. I started taking lessons at All Guitar Center in Anaheim, because I lived in Anaheim.
Okay.
And there was Chris Amelot was my first teacher that I learned from, and he was a classmate of my brother's. I didn't know that at the time. And he was a young high school student, and he was studying with Christopher Parkeny. You know who he is.
Yeah.
And Parkeny is still around.
I took a lesson with him, actually.
Big guy, man.
You mean tall?
Oh yeah, big man. He's very tall, big guy. I mean, he could play a 667 reverse, no problem at all. He got fingers like that long, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chris and I did really well, and I learned a lot from him. Then I started studying with George Sissoko. George Sissoko was the guy who owned the store. This guy was a really good player, man. And some things I didn't know about George at the time, he was from Okinawa.
Oh, interesting.
Music in the Orient's very interesting. Anyway, another story. So I started taking lessons with that, and finally Chris says to me, hey, you got to go see Cornell Emery. Cornell Emery was the professor at Cal State Fullerton. Right. Did you know Cornell?
I know very much of him, but I don't think we ever met, or maybe once. But no, I don't know him personally.
Well, he was a very demanding kind of guy, European. He was from Hungary. And he was a very demanding musician. I mean, he demanded a lot of stuff from me. He showed me some things. I learned a lot of compositions and how to play them with him. And I studied a lot of compositions from Jose Tomas. In fact, I have an article on him sitting down there. You should check him out, because he was a great influence. Jose Tomas. Oh, yes. He taught all the world performers today. Studied with him, I think, at one time or another. Philosophies about playing, etc. And he was a marvelous teacher, because he was at the Compostela in Spain. Okay.
Been there, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of influence from those different things. I studied with Fred Node. Of course, you probably know who Fred Node is.
I went to his house and I took lessons.
Yeah. Where? Down here?
In Ojai.
In Ojai.
Right.
Okay, well, he was living up in Los Angeles. I know he lived in Bluebird Canyon down here. He would go to Europe during the summer and study with Jose Tomas during the summertime, I guess. And during the summer, I would work with Fred Node, and he used to live in Maryland. That was his wife's name, Maryland. They lived in Bluebird Canyon down there in Laguna. And I used to drive down.
Yeah, I have a good friend who lives there now. I've stayed there many times.
Oh, yeah. So I'd go down there for a lesson on Saturday morning. I'd show up at Fred's house, and I learned how to play the lute with him.
Oh.
And early music and that kind of influence, and he was really good at that particular genre of music. And he liked having me come down, and we got to be very good friends. And I played a lot of lute music with him and early music.
Awesome.
And guitar things. But, Fred was a good musicologist, but not a great technician. He didn't teach a lot of technique with his hands and all that kind of stuff. I learned that from, Tomas, and I learned it from Cornell, and I learned it.
Did you ever meet Aaron Scherer?
I never met.
I know you were using his books, like many teachers do.
Yeah, that was the book that I started with. It's still, I think, one of the best publications for the beginner, because it's not overwhelming, and it kind of gets people interested to just do things at a very low level of requirement, I guess you would say. It takes some skill to do anything on the guitar.
Did you know Eric Henderson?
Yes, I did, as a matter of fact, because I went to, when I was in school, I went to Fullerton Junior College as an undergraduate. It was, your FJC is up there on Commonwealth, up in Fullerton.
Okay.
And his father was an instructor there. Eric's father, Mr. Henderson, was an associate professor there in the art department. And he taught theater and arts. Well, hell, he knew a guitar student. Oh, man, I used to go over and play for his, and of course he says, well, my son plays the guitar. I didn't know Eric personally. I knew
you didn't miss. You were aware of the whole Orange County Guitar Circle back then, right? Those
I'm an
guys,
ex-past president.
Okay, there you go.
So I know all about it.
Yeah, I was on the board too before.
That must have been after I was there.
Yeah, Richard Glenn and those guys.
Well, Richard Glenn, he passed away.
Oh, he did? Oh, what a pity.
Greg Coleman, did you know
Greg Coleman, I knew, yeah.
Greg passed away.
Oh, really? Wow.
Melanoma, man.
Oh.
Yeah. From melanoma, of all things. Larry Diak,
Diak,
yeah.
He was on the board. I know him from the Orange County Guitar Circle.
Okay. It's good that you mentioned his name. I just saw him this last summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't know. Did you ever know Ted McCallan?
No.
Ted McCallan is a guy that I met. There's a picture of him right behind you.
Okay.
And he was a flamenco player. And this ties in with my duet partner, Bob Florsick. Bob Florsick, and he used to play at Blanca Luz's music studio, or dance studio in Buena Park. And when I was living in Anaheim, I met Ted. Ted came over to the house to sit around and drink wine, play the guitar, and had a hell of a good time. That guy could play, man. And he was a great accompanist, okay? And he was very well known in Orange County. In fact, he just passed away from Parkinson's this last summer.
Oh, God.
And they had a big, remembrance for him at the daughter's house in Anaheim up here. And I went to that along with Bob Florsick came down too, and Larry Diak was there.
Oh,
I
okay.
had seen Larry for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And so, but Larry, and I taught Larry, and he said, yeah, man, I remember you teaching me that slur study and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's the
same one.
And and just and it's like there's another. But I influenced his life a lot, I guess.
Well, of course, I mean.
And so he's still playing, and he's still out there, and he's a computer guy.
It's true. Yeah, I know him quite well. I mean, we've had a lot of discussions and so on the Usenet and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Cool. Okay, that's interesting, man. So anyway, Larry, yeah. So
and
Zimmer, yeah.
He was on Zimmer. Lee Zimmer, yeah. I took a few lessons with him. Yeah.
He's still out and around.
Yeah. I'm Facebook friends with him. He's playing around. Yeah.
Lee Zimmer he played with George Sissoko down at the studio where I learned.
Oh, okay.
That's right. See, George Sissoko really kind of like was the hub of Orange County. He's the one that got Anthony Puzo's son involved with classical guitar, and Tony Puzo's the one that started the Guitar Circle. He's the one that started the Orange County Guitar Circle. And of course, Sissoko was in there because he had students and this, that, and the other. So this goes way back to the 60s, man. Okay, way back there. Okay.
Right.
And so that's the kind of where that goes. Anyway.
Right. So then you went to, you decided to go to, you went to Cal State Fullerton yourself? Is that where you studied music?
Yeah, I transferred from, and I did my 2-year, got the fundamentals and
general education.
General education and my 20 units in music and all that kind of stuff. And of course, I played extensively at Fullerton a lot. I mean, I played there a lot, man, a lot. And of course,
so you got a bachelor's from there?
Yeah, I transferred over to Cal State Fullerton. I got a Bachelor of Music and Performance from Cal State Fullerton. I did that, and that's it hanging on the wall over there. It's the old
right. Did you arrange that Manhattan the Carnival yourself? Do you remember the one you gave us?
Yeah, no, but I got a better one than that, man. Hey,
no, well, I mean, there are different versions, but that one that you have is a pretty good one. I mean, it's a simple one.
Oh, no, I got a really expanded one. I'll give you a copy of that before you leave. You got to play this one.
But that one...
I didn't make it. No, I didn't make that.
It was one of somebody you knew or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Howard Heitmeyer. Howard Heitmeyer was tied in with Fred Node because Howard had a studio that he bought from Jose Uribe. You know who Jose Uribe is? Well, and by the way, Jose Uribe was at the celebration for Ted McCown. I sat there and Ted, and he and I never met him. Very gracious guy. We sat there and drank beer together and talked about. He knew a lot of people that I knew, and I knew a lot of people that he knew. And it was like, well, I'd never been to his place down in Escondido. That's where he lives. Okay, in Escondido, not Escondido. What is it? It's right next to there. But anyway, he's well known as a guitar maker, and I've played many of his guitars. Nice.
Escondido reminds me. I went to Angel Romero's house there sometimes.
Yeah, he lives in Escondido, I think.
Around that, maybe further south or something.
Vista.
Something like this. I took like maybe...
Vista is where...
the Romeros live.
Yeah, not Vista, but I think they might live in that area, right near there,
Yeah, I took a bunch of lessons.
Oribe doesn't speak any Spanish. He doesn't know any Spanish. Interesting guy. Anyway, how did I get to him? Anyway, Jose Uribe, interesting guy. Well, and Ted, you get this network of over years of time. You get to know everybody and their dog.
Right.
I mean, that's how it works. I mean, it just is, And so...
But it must be a wonderful feeling to be a music teacher because you become you're an important part of my life because of what you taught me. So, and there are many people like me that you've taught over the years, right? Have you ever thought about how many students you've gotten turned on to guitar?
I have. I'll tell you something. Right behind you is a file cabinet. I have every record from the day I started teaching. I have a stack of grades and names of students. I don't know how many.
I sent a guy to Gilbert. Do you remember him? So what about Villalobos Etude 1? You changed the fingering of the big run, right?
I got that from Tomas.
Oh, you did?
No, it was Tomas's idea. It wasn't mine.
I see. Yeah, I was wondering where you got that from.
No, I started playing that thing and I got...
You know which part I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know which part, And, when it goes up to the higher range, how do you get up there gracefully and come back down without blowing it? Because you don't want the two shifts. No way. That's the way it was.
The way it's written, it goes on the 7th fret, right?
No, you don't want to try to do that. No, that's ridiculous. No, that was a Jose Tomas trick. No, that wasn't mine.
Cool.
He did that.
I
just passed it on.
It's a good one, right?
So, no, Jose Tomas, he was a very interesting guy. So,
I recorded a bunch of stuff. Actually, all the stuff I worked with you, I recorded. The nice ones, Opus 15, Giuliani.
Oh, that's that sonata.
Yeah. That's a fun piece. A couple of Carcasses, A minor and A, a couple of soars, C and B minor and so. I brought my CD for you. It's in the car.
Oh, cool.
Good too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's very cool.
And it was when I went to Europe. It was people were like, "You have a recording?" I said, "No, I'm just an amateur player," you know.
Right.
So they kind of pushed me into making a record because they're so music loving, Swiss
Oh,
people
yeah,
especially. Like even if I'm like whistling or humming a melody in the supermarket, very quietly, somebody's bound to come and say, "That's very nice," you know. They're so responsive to music.
Yeah, Europe is a lot different than
Yeah, and they have a lot of appreciation and respect for musicians. Opposite is way is here, you know. Here sometimes they look down on musicians. Well, depends on who is looking, but
Yeah.
so that was really a fertile ground for my artistic development. And I made this CD, and then one night I had a dream that I played Romance, you know, the Anonymous Romance.
Oh yeah.
I was playing it with a cellist, with the two guitar and cello. So I wake up and I call Angelo Gilardino, whom you know. He's a genius.
I know of him. I don't know him.
Well, yeah, he's a genius composer. He's amazing. I said, Angelo, you know, can this be done? He says, let me think about it. He calls me a few days later. He says, I wrote duos for guitar based on Romance theme. Guitar with violin, viola, flute, oboe, cello, mandolin, and voice.
No, really.
And this became kind of a bestseller in the classical genre because it's so beautiful. You will hear it. He's amazing.
Pretty cool. Yeah. No. Yeah. I have some music by him. God, it goes back into the you know, antiquities of time.
Yeah, he's just been amazing for the guitar.
Because I bought some music and there he is, and you know I still have it in my file cabinet. And,
I called him in Italy and I said, Angelo, can I come and see you for a lesson? He goes, yeah, sure. I said, how much will it cost? He says, 7 liras. And I didn't know, so I went to the bank, you know, asking for liras.
7 liras.
And it turns out that it doesn't even exist. It's like 5 cents. He was like pulling my leg, and the bank laughed at me. It was like, no, you don't have 7 liras. So he didn't charge me anything, but you know, very, very amazing person. But he just blew me away, you know. He taught me a lot, you know, and he's not playing himself anymore. He quit being a player, and he just does, he just plays concerts. He just composes. Anyway, big influence, another big influence in my life.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just, I'm still doing it.
Have you done any composing yourself?
You know, there are so many great composers.
I know.
I'm sorry. It's just like, you know.
I know what you mean.
I really can't compete with their level. I mean, it's not not within my realm to really.
That's how I feel about classical composition. Pop stuff I write, but.
Yeah, but these guys are really good stuff, and it's intelligent, and I mean, you know.
Master crafted stuff they know what to do.
I mean, you know, it's not my world.
What about singing?
I don't sing. I got a voice that's like a frog. So
go on.
I was not trained. You know what I mean? However, the ear, that's a different story. I can hear things, and when I play a piece of music, when I learn a piece of music or I do something with it, you know. What is it supposed to say? What is it supposed to do? You know, what does the composer want me to do? How am I supposed to portray what he wants me to do? It's not what I think it should do. It's about what he wants me to do. I got to pick up on that one. And this is what I think a lot of students don't really understand. It's not music. They think music can be done any way they want to internally. No. It doesn't work that way. No, that's just to get you to play music. Okay, fine. That's your idea. That's the subjective point of view. The real thing is the objective point of view. What does the composer intend for me to do to play this piece of music? Or, you know, that he has written. How am I supposed to do it? That's where the musician comes in. Because he has to figure out from this piece of paper what he is supposed to do. And, you know, that's where the real, let's say, musical intellect should be. And the better that is, the better musician you are, because you know.
Mike, do you remember the first class you taught? Or how you got started with teaching? How did that feel? Did you like it from the beginning? Or was it challenging? Any particular recollections on that?
Well, you know, yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. I have to go back to Greg Coleman, the old friend who's passed away, who was the former guitar instructor at Saddleback College. and I think it was 1978. I just graduated from, the cocoon of Cal State Fullerton, being locked into this,
Establishment.
the educational system. And I mean, it was like, oh God, I just need to get out of here.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like, and I needed a break. So anyway, he calls me up and he says, hey, I'm leaving my job at San Bernardino Valley College, and they're going to need a guitar teacher up there. Would you be interested? And I said, sure. Yeah. I didn't have a job. Yeah, that would be nice. I got to eat, man. That would be nice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he arranges for me to go see Paul Loxley, who's the department head at the college up there, and he hires me on the spot.
Cool.
I mean, I brought some stuff with him, and I didn't play for him, but I said, here's what I'm doing. If you want me to play something, I can bring my guitar and do an audition. No, not necessary. He came highly recommended, okay?
Oh, great.
And so anyway, he says, do you have a credential? And I said, what? And I said, doing what? What do you mean? He says, well, you gotta have a teaching credential, teaching at college. And I said, no, I don't have one. He says, okay, let's go across the street and get one.
This is when you had your bachelor's already?
Yeah, I had the Bachelor of Music degree, okay? Right. And so he marches me across, he goes with me. We walk right across the street to the, what do they call it?
HR?
Yeah, HR, that's what they call it now. What is it? Human Resources.
Right.
It's like the personnel department, okay?
Right.
And so we go over there, and I get a temporary credential right now.
Wow.
Okay, and that's it hanging on the wall over there, permanent. They sent that one to me. Yeah.
Cool.
It's kind of getting faded now, but it's there.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was my first teaching assignment, was at the college out there, and of course I outlaid what format I had for classes and this, that, and the other, and he was satisfied with that. So I started teaching at that campus out there, in the evenings, on Thursday evenings. And the first class I ever taught, I just played some things for him, and I told him a little bit about the class, and I said, this is what we're going to learn how to do. And, I played a few things, and they were all kind of interested, and it just kind of like went from there. And I had some very good students that I met at that college, and one student in particular really was a very good student. And I started teaching him, and his name was Jesus Rudy. His name was Rudy Carl. I knew him by Rudy Carlos. His first name was Jesus. And when I started teaching him, I mean, it was kind of interesting. I used a teaspoon of information, and then I graduated to the tablespoon, and then I started using a shovel. He could get everything down, everything. I mean, and Jesus came to me one day, and he said, he was young, 18, dropped out of high school, but didn't know what he was just everywhere, didn't know.
Right.
But he knew about music, and he wanted to get with that, and I said, I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I said, well, that's interesting. And I said, not a lot of people do. But I said, you have a really good feel for music, and you have a really good way of understanding abstraction. I said, really good with abstraction, man. You really get the idea of what's happening, okay? I said, why don't you become a musician? And he says, well, I could. I think so. He says, but I like science. And I thought so. That's because you're dealing with abstraction. Music is a science. Come on, it is. It really
Definitely,
is.
absolutely.
I mean, it goes hand in hand.
Sure.
I said, why don't you become a doctor? Because you can deal with all of this abstraction. You can do it. And guess what? He decided that he would enter, he finished his work at the college right there at San Bernardino, his bachelor, undergraduate studies for Bachelor of Science degree. He went and he got a Bachelor of Science degree in 2 years, okay, and he got a master's degree in 1 year. 1 year from Redlands, man. Are you ready for this? In, you know, master's in what is it, Master of Science degree, okay. All right, and then being a minority student, I suggested to him, I said, Rudy, apply for every grant, every kind of opportunity financially that you can, and then go to UCLA, man. Okay, guess what he did? He graduated from UCLA with his doctorate of medicine degree, man. And while he was there, I was invited to come down and do different things. And he was a real entrepreneur. All this kid was something. He would, while he was studying his medical things, this, that, you know, something I learned about him, this guy has a photographic memory. You show him something once, he's got it memorized. What? Unbelievable, man. So anyway, he's down there at UCLA going to school. Meanwhile, he's playing the guitar and he's got all these medical books stacked up. And he's reading them, he's playing guitar and all this kind of crap. He gets money from the medical department at UCLA. And he brings over world-class performers. This is back in the 90s.
Wow.
World-class, David...
Weisbart?
Oh, no.
That's another Orange County guitar circle
David
guy.
Weisbart, by the way, was there at...
I see.
With the tribute for Ted. I got to see him again. Of course, he and I hadn't hooked up. David Russell was the...
right.
David Russell.
Nice guy. I met him recently, actually.
David Russell, I met him way back. He and his wife Maria, they would travel around.
Yeah.
And he came to Orange County to perform at Royce Hall. I remember this. And Rudy hooked this up. He put him up in a hotel room. Of course, the medical department got big money. And he invites all the guys over from USC, the rival school. And they don't know who the hell Jesus Carlos is. Who is this guy? You know, they got to find out who he was real fast because he knows everybody in LA, man. I mean, you know, and he's still down there. Anyway, so he's doing really good down there. But there's another. He goes to the international competition. He and I worked together, you know, getting ready for that. And this is when, gosh, I can't remember the year. The young lady who won, what's her name? She's at Cal State Fullerton right now. Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, can't think of her name. Anyway, he got into the short list of the players, okay, and he didn't get into the finals, okay, but he got into the top 12. I was impressed with that, man. Come on. You know, he was not a music student. He was just a good player. Unbelievable.
Interesting.
And he's still a very good friend. We contact each other now and then, and he's recently been in the house, this, that, and the other. So we still hanging, man. Cool. So, you know, I'm still doing it. This old dinosaur's hanging around for a long time, man. I mean, you know, I'm still doing, dude.
Talking about Parkening, I had a dream one night that I met Parkening. I played for him, and he said, "You're all right." I woke up, I started Googling him. Because he was a big influence on my life through his records. Before I met you, I used to listen to his records every night.
He's a very inspirational player.
And it's very sensitive recordings, you know. Yeah. So I called his secretary. I said, "Sharon, I'm coming to the U.S. Is there any chance I can meet Mr. Parker?" And she goes, "Yeah, just come to church service. You can meet him before the service." So I met him before the service in the valley, in the church. I played for him, Capriccio Arabe. And he said, "You're all right." He gave me a lesson too.
That's good.
Very nice guy.
Christopher Parkening's little method of getting people interested in learning how to do all the fingers. I use that in my solos, but I got that from Chris Amelot, who got it from Parkening. Oh, it's amazing how one thing leads.
What are you talking about? What method are you talking about?
Well, the little technical things that you learn how to do with your hands, you know, as a beginners, you know.
Right.
And so the thing is that learning how to do rest stroke technique and doing all of that, learning how to do
Let me see your hands, Mike. You have quite long nails. You've always had long nails.
I've always played with long nails. Can't play without them.
I remember. Some people you go short, some people go
I've
long.
never been able to do that, man. For me, I don't get the sound.
Let me see the palm of your hand. Okay.
Small
Pretty
hands.
strong hands, though.
Not about strong. You're getting weaker now. The older you get, you lose the muscle, man. You know?
Oh, your wife plays too. I remember.
Oh, she did. Yes.
That's right. I remember.
Yeah, she did. She doesn't now, but this one is a Japanese guitar, which is now. This is a 1981. It was made by Hiroshi Komori.
Okay.
And this is the one that I play most of the time. Because it's very comfortable for me. I like it a lot. It's got some good sound, you know. Always out of tune, of course. But I like the sound. It's got a nice...
It's not nice punch and sweetness.
Oh, yeah, he goes for a long time, man.
First song I learned from you was Green Sleeves.
Green Sleeves.
You remember?
Yeah, it does
something like that. Yeah, from the Notebook actually. This was.
Yeah.
Do you have that A flat piece memorized? Or
this one?
That was one hell of a pain in the ass.
Well, it's not hard once you understand that, don't let go of all the fingers.
Right.
Oh, there's certain ones to hold on to.
What's the second part? Do you know it by heart?
Oh, sure.
What's your favorite? Very nice. What are some of your top favorite guitar pieces?
Top favorite guitar pieces? Well, there's a lot of them.
For me, it's Grand Overture by Giuliani.
That's a hard piece.
I love that piece. I play it actually.
Yeah, that's a tough piece.
Yeah.
Well, these days I have, I don't know. I keep a few things on tap. Capriccio is a good one. I like that one.
Wonderful.
That's a
But you used to say that it had a musical problem, if I remember correctly.
Not a musical problem, no.
With the key changers, I don't know. Maybe it was some.
No, there was a technical problem. Yeah, this F major section, you got to be in D tuning to do that. But that's that F major section. Another one that does this is E.
What a sweet guitar.
Huh?
What a sweet sounding guitar.
Oh, I love this guitar, man.
That's a good one. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But that, it's kind of interesting. I remember, I've been teaching that piece a little bit now and then because I have some students who are kind of interested in doing this particular thing. And, I think back when I was living in Anaheim and I was a student myself. I'm still a student. You never...
Exactly.
It's endless. Okay.
Absolutely.
You can't do it all in a lifetime. It's impossible. It's good because you can't do it all. But you can sure have a hell of a lot of fun learning how, I guess you would say. But I went to a recital at Ambassador Auditorium in Pasadena. with my little duet partner that I used to work with in Anaheim, Eric Ramirez. And Eric and I drove up to there. And when John Williams was performing that particular afternoon. It was on a Saturday. Okay, so we went up there. And of course, being a student, we were all poor, so we all sat in the bleeds, way up in the back of the auditorium, you understand?
Oh, yes.
You know, and the $3 seats, you understand?
Right,
you couldn't get down
right.
to the front where the $15 ones were. Forget that idea. So we're way up there in the back, and at the end, he played a really great recital. Oh, man.
Yeah, he was a machine.
Williams?
Yeah.
Incredibly great musician. Anyway, he played and then came out to play an encore. Okay. And guess what the encore was? That one.
Leander.
Leander. And I'm sitting back there in the back and I'm listening to what he's doing and I'm also watching. And of course, being this long distance from where he was to where I was, I couldn't really see what the heck he was doing. I could see one thing. I was watching this. That right hand.
Right.
It's very interesting about the right hand.
Right.
I'm not moving my fingers at all.
You're moving the wrist or the whole arm?
Whole arm.
Interesting. Wow.
Those nails are picking up the strings.
Right. Interesting. So Williams was moving the whole arm. Interesting. You know the second part where it goes tremolo or the arpeggio, the original piano is this where it goes. That part is in the piano original is not an arpeggio. It's like it's not.
Yeah, it's different.
So it's a guitar. This is a guitar version, which is.
See, when Segovia made the arrangement, he played this for Albéniz, you know.
Right. Oh.
Albéniz died in 1909.
And Albéniz said, I like this better than the piano version, or something like this.
Albéniz, being a nationalistic composer, of Spain, okay, when he was writing his music, I mean, if you know, Albéniz, he's an interesting guy. To me, he was not a romantic. He died in 1909. Well, the Romantic period was way before that time, okay? However, the Impressionistic period of time in music was about, you know, just around before 1900, you know, maybe 1890. And in Europe, things caught on faster than they did every place else. You know, Pablo Picasso was doing art, you know, I mean, you know,
Van Gogh and so on.
Yeah, all these, you know. And so here is a nationalistic composer, and he's writing the story of Leander. Leander means the legend.
Right.
You know, the legend of what? The legend of Spain. And yes, he played the piano. He didn't play the guitar. What was he thinking of, though? He was thinking of this. And when you hear some of these parts that are played in this piece of music, you're really hearing the guitar.
Oh yeah, very almost from flamenco
You
too.
got it right, exactly. This one part. No, not that part. Let's see, there's another part in there. What does it do? This part. Whatever it does. The arthritis doesn't let me feel like I want, you know, okay. So, but the part that's really kind of cool is the middle part. It's so impressionistic, man, you know? When you here comes the dancers.
This is totally flamenco.
That's Moorish, man. I mean,
Oh, totally.
when you come back to and you listen to all these different things in this piece of music, then you kind of go, well, he's capturing, the old cities,
Right.
The ancient cities of Spain,
In the regions. Well, also Mallorca. Like in this case, it's, Asturias, which is a state in the northeast.
Yeah.
Northwest.
Yeah. And the other, a lot of ancient cities, and he's bringing all of this other stuff into the modern world. His music of, the impressionistic period, a beautiful blend, man. I mean, what a craftsman! Now, why don't I write music? Because I can compete with this guy.
Exactly.
No, I
That's how I feel.
Well, that would be stupid.
One of my favorite pieces that I play is Rumores de la Caleta.
That's a tough dude, man.
You want to hear a bit of it?
Yeah, sure. You play it?
Yeah.
Here, you play it, man. You can sit here.
You take the camera.
I'll take the camera. Here, wait a minute.
Just
Do I got to do anything?
Nothing. Just to zoom the. No, you don't even have to zoom. Just to see me on the.
Okay,
TV.
hold on for a minute. Oh, you got good fingers, man. You did that slur study. Awesome, man.
Stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
very nice.
So how does that guitar? It's kind of, it's classical guitar, but it kind of borders on doing.
Flamenco, right?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It'll speak. It'll bark. I'll trade you. How's that, man?
Cool.
Yeah, I saw it. When I bought this, I liked this guitar a lot. I played it a lot, and I still do. And you know what? I don't regret that one at all.
What does that cost?
Well, when I bought it was about $3,200.
Okay.
Now,
Everything's gone up.
oh man, I have no idea.
The prices have gone through the roof, as far as I know.
I know.
Stuff that were like 3,000, they're like 6,000 now.
Oh no, triple.
Yeah, maybe even more. Yeah.
Even more, yeah, I know it. It's like I have no idea. I mean, that's an '81, and
Wow.
I like it a lot. It's been refretted about 3 times. It's getting ready for another one, but I'm not ready to do that yet. But anyway,
I bought a Manzanero. Have you heard
Manzanero?
Have you heard of him?
Hey, let me tell you something. Manzanero, yeah, Felix Manzanero.
Exactly.
I know.
Yeah, I went to his
all
shop
that.
in Madrid and I bought one from him. I like it a lot. I made my CDs with it. It's got a quite nice sound.
You know something? When I was taking lessons at in the '60s, in the early '60s, about that time, from George Sissoko studio. Okay, he had guitars, and he had a Felix from Felix Manzanero guitar.
Oh, really?
He played those guitars, and I went, "Oh man, this is good."
Yeah, he's really good.
Very loud guitars.
Yeah,
really
yeah.
loud, and
Yeah, exactly.
and
He used to work in the Ramirez shop,
Ramirez hired a lot of local makers, from. They didn't have a name. But Ramirez was a business guy, okay, and he got his start, because Segovia liked his instrument and all this. Just exponentially, his name got out there. Barrios played, by the way, Ramirez.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And now, Agustin Barrios Mangore?
Yeah.
I like his music. Some people criticize him for not being classical enough, because he took a lot of pop themes and so on, but so did Villalobos, right?
I know, so what?
Yeah, exactly.
I know, but it's kind of interesting. His music is very good. You have to have some good skills to play.
He was a good player himself.